I was having a good chuckle with some of the stuff that was going on. Obviously, I really enjoyed the outage that happened, mainly because I was thinking of Flying High, or as Airplane as it's known in the rest of the world, and the scene where Johnny pulls the plug on the landing lights and then just says, "Just kidding." I'm evilly enjoying this because I think my overall view of Facebook in probably the last. I can't remember exactly when, probably around 2012 probably, it started going downhill, and I just we'll discuss this later on in the other part of the Facebook topic, but it's just, I thought it was just fun that it wasn't available for 6 hours worldwide, and you could imagine a bunch of people curling up in the fetal position, unable to access the thing.
Well, we saw the breakfast TV show programs, Ben, oh my God, I woke up and there was no Facebook, well, if that's what it's come to.
Well, I think it was just all right, we'll focus on the actual outage itself. I just found it I've read a little bit about the technicalities. I don't think that's necessarily important in terms of the effect, I guess, but I think I found it funny, just imagining being the poor engineer that uploaded the wrong update that set it all off. I'm sure he's out in his butt now, especially because he cost the big Zuck $6 or $7 billion off of his net value or whatever it was. But
was it automated? The AI didn't do it? If I was the engineer, that's what I'd be saying.
The AI is smarter than the Zuck at this point. The other, I guess, just from an infrastructure point of view, I guess it does highlight that these services can potentially be vulnerable to, in this case, an error. But it could be something else, the right hack or something like that. And it could potentially mean that any one of these big tech companies and their online services could just go offline. I guess maybe the most surprising thing is that for a company that never, their site never goes down, I find it interesting that there wasn't redundancy in place, as opposed to getting, locked out of all their buildings, and they had to manually switch the servers on, one at a time kind of thing, well, more or less.
Well, that's right. Well, I actually, that's why I tend to believe their story, that it was a server configuration, because, I'm sure they've got major redundancies against any sort of cyber attack. And the fact that they couldn't do anything about this suggests that it probably wasn't a cyber attack. But it is interesting to see, how integral Facebook sees itself in society, and how integral people see Facebook in society. I remember we've been commenting about Facebook for a long time, and I think, to be honest, if you look back, you'd probably say we hit peak Facebook in 2014. They'd just listed, they were super popular, everybody was on there. If you weren't on Facebook, you had a problem, and so on. Whereas these days, it's very mature platform by digital standards. It's getting up there alongside, I would say, Microsoft Office in terms of maturity and integration in everything that most people do. So it's a critical platform.
Yeah.
If you apply the same test and say Microsoft Office would just go down, I'm sure it'd be even more. There'd probably be even greater consternation. But it is exactly what it is, and the questions now around Facebook and its format and its size and integration into society are now all live, I guess.